the terrible karma. I hope they all work it out, and I hope they find their best karma. I want them to. I want them. God is God. Please pray with me. Pray for my family. Let them wake up, Mom. And Mom and Papa. Let them wake up.
Right. No. No words. No words. I should have said the poem.
Our family is filled with poets and poetesses, musicians, healers, artists, Co-Secretary General,
These are the spiritual as much as physical voyages of the Confederation, solar, Sun, starship, planet Earth, restored to heaven on our every earth, as our spiritual, genealogical, local, global, universal voyager and shared her and his family community enterprise. Our new millennial year's mission to revisit and re-understand, sustain, and explore our and all are in fact familiar new worlds of family community, of the tree of love, life, and light throughout the solar system and universe, to restore, renew, and sustain our new life and new sustainable civilizations, CAD, present, retroactively, and now, rebalance, and future, always balancing, to lovingly heal us all logically, evolving, become, and be space-time travelers wherever and where we have, engaging, reviving, all in part being before, but also forever being before, in alternative space-time lines there are circles, which are of the universal EQ, IQ, and SQ continuum. Balance, combinations of the ever-expanding circle which spirals and grows, budding and blooming in space-time. Love and live enlightened, ever young, long, and prosper all both in each and every one. Engage your heart, mind, soul, and body. For we all, both in each, and each, both in all, can, must, and marvelously and miraculously make it so.
In the thunderous blast, she emerges, her eyes on fire, the mighty priestess. She's risen from the nativity of Caldera. She is risen from the fires of the earth. She is risen. She is risen.
We are risen.
She is risen. She is risen.
We are risen.
We all are risen via my intercession and your cooperation.
महालक्ष्मी मृडप्रिया महारूपा महापूज्या महापातकनाशिनी महामाया महासत्त्व महाशक्ति महारथी महाभूत महेश्वर्या महावीर्या महाबला महाबुद्धि महासिद्धि महायोगीश्वरेश्वरी महातंत्र महामंत्र महायंत्र महासना महायागक्रमाराध्या ओम महाभैरवपूजिता महेश्वर महाकल्पक महातांडव साक्षिणी महाकामेशमतिथि महात्रिपुरसुन्दरी चतुष्षष्टि उपचाराढ्या चतुष्षष्टि कलामयी महाचतुष्षष्टि कोटि योगिनी गणसेविता
So that's doing good. No. Words. Words. God, I should have said. Oh, so beautiful.
Our family is filled with poetesses, poets, and musicians, and artists, and co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs, equinox, true Qs. They can see what I've seen. They can come to see it. They will.
This day I call the heavens and the earths as witnesses intercessorily for and hopefully and prayerfully not against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose love and life with light, so that you and your children may live. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not our new millennial law.
Okay. Another situation. Lady May Sunflower, who wants to repeat a Broadcaszt. This is Anna Marie, meaning Christian, and I am Cherokee, Cheyenne, Blackfoot, and Ellsworth, Dakota, and I am also a French, English, and German. That means we are all related. We embrace the new millennial golden rule as the law of all saints, as the sacred ground that is Mother Earth, and all the planets of all the universes.
Okay, we're going to quickly do our ceremony, and then I'm going to make some more of those calls I said I would make. We're going to call, we're going to dare, in the sight of Mother, Father, Goddesses, God's protection, call a young lady and her workplace, as well as we have already called her family, to indicate that we do not regard patriarchal law as law, and that we are obeying the law of the Mother, Father, Goddess, God in predicting earthquakes in Illinois and in California. If the parties to a particular problem in our family do not gain the wisdom, all of them, to move in the direction of reconciliation and family reunion that honors the eternal feminine as well as the eternal masculine. And we're going to make a couple of those calls, and you're going to hear them, because we don't want to be giving any sense of fear about this. Sometimes you have to stand up to a tank. Sometimes you have to stand up to a tank, and Goddess God will protect you. So that's what I'm doing, and I have some other tanks that I have yet to stand up to. I can't do this all at once for you because there's several different people and groups involved. But I'm doing some of this, and we'll do some more of it tomorrow and the next day. And I believe that if I do that for you, you will see it. But we do want to do the ceremony first, because frankly, our hearts should be with the heart light, not with battling with people who don't have heart light turned on. So we need to recognize the importance of the heart light and the budding blooming flowers as our first priority. And then we get to our are more Durga-like role, you know, are battling with evil. We'll get to that. And there is no evil or good apart from the imbalance of yin and yang. Yin and yang have to do with the difference of good and evil. A life without enough yin and nurturing and connection, honored fully and equally, and a life that does not value courage enough is not a balanced enough life to prevent evil. But if we have both, then we have good in all people. And that's what the New Millennial Golden Rule brings about. So the light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers in water. Hugs and love to all, both and each and everyone as soon as possible. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers in water. Hugs and love to all, both and each and everyone as soon as possible in all the languages. We said them earlier today, all the languages of our planet Earth, of all the heritages of all the lands. I'm not going to repeat them again today, just to say namaste, mitakuya oyasim, mitakuya kosev Reall, Couszmic. Oh, I might as well go through them all. Couszmic culture, we are Pax culture. Bava l'chaim, shalom, salam, salam, shalom, mir, pace, tubesc, sedleric, dasvidanya, tubesc, let's see, I said that already, Ubuntu, buenos dias, sayonara, chop chop, good day, and many, many more. Mirapache, we said them many, all the languages of all the lands of our earth and our earths. And we'll say love and live longest, eternally young, everyone, and prosper everyone and all. Okay, and let's very importantly do our milk, especially in honor of recovery from the error of Dr. Strauss for our entire society. When one little baby girl who has a very precious place in the center of a family and in the heart of her sister and in the heart of her sister Casitas, if they will allow themselves to feel hearts anymore, and that's what we have to get back to in our culture, is harmed as a baby. When any baby is harmed as a baby, it affects the entire world. We start out as babies with the greatest genius and goddess godhood within us. The females are the goddess babies, and the males are the godlike babies. And we are capable of apotheosis in life and becoming eternally young and eternally wise and kind and powerful. And through our genius, not through our brawn, not through our ape-likeness or domination tendencies, but through our deeper thought and our ethical thought. And so we drink to the milk of human kindness that is the basis for all of this, from the baby and the mother and the family community and the fathers included, and all throughout life on this our planet, everywhere. 2 to 3 years paid, 2 to 3 years breastfeeding, natural weaning, on cue breastfeeding for all humankind. And especially in honor of Julianne Marie. And we are going to make Dr. Strauss a poster child for what must not be done again, ever again. And any doctor that does not take into account the importance of the eternal feminine, women's relationships, children's and mothers' and fathers' relationships, and all of the family's relationships, that has to be the way of every medical experience of every person and every place on this world and every healing place. And that will be. And we'll say, we'll drink the water of loving, living planets that will reclaim and sustain our Earth and all our planets Earth to be, past, present, and future. And we'll do this on behalf of all, both and each and every one as soon as possible, as Equinox True Qs, co-Saviors, co-Secretary Generals of the New Millennial Confederation, and the same with the milk, as Equinox True Qs, Co-Secretary General's Couszmic. Nurturing is qualification for decision making. Roll both in each and every one as soon as possible. We'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days together, past, present, and future, as Co-Secretary Generals, Couszmic, Equinox, True Qs, starting with our equinox, conception, and birth, and all our holy days of that time, name days, and both at spring and autumnal months, and then years rounds. Past, present, and future. We'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days together as Equinox True Qs, past, present, and future. As Equinox True Qs, past, present, and future. And we'll start fresh. We'll pick parity instead of patriarchy. We'll pick paradise instead of planetocide. We'll pick all of our planets instead of our extinction here on one planet. We'll pick parity, paradisal parity on all our planets. We'll start fresh. And we'll do that traveling back and forth in time, as if we're going back to various times in the past, and we're picking it then, 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 and now, and now, and now, and now, and now. Because then all the thens become nows, and nows become then, and you open the stargates, and you have space-time travel. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all the blessings and all the greetings of all the heritages of our earth and our earths, past, present, and future, as Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Severas, Equinox, True Qs. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious will say all the blessings and all the greetings of all of our heritages of our earth and our earths together, past, present, and future, as Equinox, True Qs, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Severas. As Equinox, True Qs, Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Severas. Okay, now we're going to do some things that seem very reckless, but we don't think they are, because we think Mother, Father, Goddess, God knows that the basic issue that we're dealing with, the parity versus patriarchy, the patriarchal society versus egalitarian society, and the time of need for some reparation to women, is so essential that this will be protected. So I'm going to do something rather daring right now, and I want you to hear it. Now, we're also doing this with corporate headquarters. We're going to be doing this with corporate headquarters a little bit later. But you can assume that. I might be able to look that up now. Sometimes I can't look up a page of a website at the same time I'm broadcasting, but we're going to be calling the corporate headquarters because we are not afraid of anything or anyone. This is to save a planet and the people that we love the most. So therefore, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear. Zero fear. Goddess God is either with us or not. We hope Goddess God is with us. We pray that Goddess God is with us. Okay, we're going to be broadcasting this, so
You have reached the main number for the Los Angeles offices of Fox. If you already know the 5-digit extension number of the person whom you're calling, enter it.
Spell the last name first. To cancel, press star. Please select from the following list of names. To select, Gabby Coughlin, press 1. To select, Sarah Soskin, press 2. Please hold for Sarah Soskin. Please leave a voice message for Sarah Soskin. At the tone, please record your message. When you are finished recording, hang up or press 1 for more options.
Dearest young Kazina, Sarah, among our many young dear Kazinas, this is your Kazina Rochelle, a co-severa. I'm a co-severa, co-secretary general, which you all can be. I want you to know that we have predicted earthquakes in Illinois and in California, near where you are, Los Angeles, where you and there is another member of the family who also engaged in what is not true law. The only true law on the planet Earth is at 5050now.wordpress.com. It is the new millennial golden rule. I am speaking to you as a representative of the Mother, Father, Goddess, God on this planet. Now, by doing this, and I am broadcasting this, and already have communicated this to tens of thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands, is that the continuance of patriarchy, whether in family, law, media, medicine, government, or any aspect of system, is so dangerous to the planet Earth right now that we are taking every risk to stand before Mother, Father, Goddess, God and say to you, the only law is the new millennial golden rule, and any court system that dignifies anything that does not bind a family in love, instead of separating it in division or domination, is not a true court system in the eyes of Mother, Father, Goddess, God. And we want to educate all people as to what is true law, acceptable to the Mother, Father, Goddess, God. All people can become co-secretary generals, co-severas. Your situation has endangered the lives and healths of members of our family. And it is endangering the lives and health of members of our family. So we are predicting these earthquakes in the hope that the earthquakes that do happen will be mitigated and lesser than they would have been had I not done this. I am also certainly calling the corporate board of Fox, as I have already done, and I've also called the corporate board of all the major media networks, all of them, because patriarchy in media has been one of the greatest dangers to humanity. It is the greatest danger to humanity because it has deceived humanity about the importance of gender parity and covered up the news that would have been given about balance of love and work, about the preservation of the balance of the Mother Earth and the Mother, Father, Goddess, God on Earth and on all our planets. We also know that this is the way to open up the stargates by not fearing illegitimate law, but by commanding a higher court to judge what we are doing. You are before a higher court right now. I am a representative of the higher court, the highest court. It is the court of the Mother, Father, Goddess, God. Please communicate this to all your family. I love all your family. The women have engaged in their adjustments along with some members of my own branch in the form of relational aggression because it's an adjustment to patriarchy. Women make that as an adjustment to patriarchy. It is nevertheless injurious to both women and men to engage in those processes, and it is certainly injurious for men to engage in patriarchal domination and the expectation of that over women. We need partnership of the genders, and we need protection of all our generations, especially the younger generations. I do this in the name of all of my family and all our great and grandmothers particularly, and you know that you've been included in those ceremonies, and all of your family has, of all of our heritages, and also Also in the name of men, of democracy, of kindness, of reconciliation, of peacemaking, that all people can be. So I know that by doing this, I am taking a risk. I am quite happy to take this risk because I would take any risk to protect those I love and to protect the Mother, Father, Goddess, God's creation, this planet Earth. Your family and our media and other institutions, our legal institutions, our medical institutions are so embedded in patriarchy. They are endangering billions and billions of lives and souls. And we cannot allow that without every intervention. So I speak to you as a Co-Secretary General, Co-Saviora, Equinox, True Q, to open up the stargates as well. Every blessing. And cure all diseases. Every blessing. And namaste for all of those who can find the divine within us as quickly as possible.
To send now, press 1. To mark the message as urgent, press 2. Message marked urgent. To send now, press 1. To mark the message as normal important, press 2. To include a fax, press 4. Mark message sent. To disconnect, press 1. To enter another number, press 2. Please make an entry.
Okay, now you heard that. Now, I've already communicated this to several other people on the staff there and to other people associated with that particular media outlet. There's a bunch of media outlets that I've already said this to. I've said this to CBS, I've said this to NBC, I've said this to Oprah, I've said this to Discovery Channel. They've all heard it from me. But I think the advantage here is that it is an interface with the patriarchy of my family, a close branch of my family, your family, our family. And it is a family against family, cousin against cousina delusion that is produced by patriarchy. The only truth is egalitarian society. That's the only truth that's acceptable to Mother, Father, Goddess, God. And in order to have that, we have to have a time of reparation and tilting toward the female to some extent for maybe 9 to 18 months, including also the youthful generations, age 37 and younger, female and male, as Co-Secretary Generals, Co-Savioras, Equinox True Qs. And now what I just did, I want everyone to know, I broke a court order according to these people's way of thinking of a court. I am in the mode of the combination of Encounter at Farpoint of Star Trek, which is a judiciary that tries humanity for its primitiveness, and the very famous play of Jean Giraudoux, The Mad Woman of Shiloh, The Mad Women of Shiloh. And I am speaking, which is a play that deals with domination, illegitimacy, presentism, and government, and how every common person can stand up to it. And especially women are important to stand up to that and give a better alternative. Now, in that play, it's a little bit, I don't agree with the sentence. The sentence in that play is very severe. I don't want a severe sentence for any human being. I don't think we need severe sentences. But I do think that you need to be waked up. And I am calling upon Mother Goddess God to produce a level of earthquakes in Illinois and in California simultaneously if this particular court order is not removed and this family is not brought to family counseling and or family reunion reconciliation, starting with the women, as it should have been all along. And then including our youthful generations, and then eventually also the older men. I have done the act. Now we'll see what happens. I know Goddess God stands behind this. And I also have another act to make. I have a couple of them. There's several. Let me give the names, the branches. We have a Snitpin branch that several years ago engaged in court proceedings with another branch that's also connected to our Silverkind branch through marriage. Spray Reagan branch. All of these people are mean to be decent people, but they are not capable of doing right when they live under patriarchy. So what happened with those branches is that those branches engaged in a legal proceeding that had no spiritual or family reconciliation component that did honor the eternal feminine. The unpaid work of the women, the unexplored value of their relationships. It destroyed the relationships of that family, those branches, for many, many decades. And we want to overcome that. So we're also including that family branch. And I have already called the high school many, many months ago, where that family branch went to high school, and described the situation. This time, though, we are dealing with a larger entity, which is a big media company, which is better because it gives us a chance to do what that young man did in front of the tank at Tiananmen Square, to say no to illegitimacy as a common person, and to know that Mother, Father, Goddess, God will protect it. So there's that branch. And then we have another branch. It's the branch that I attempted a marriage into. I won't give the name. I don't want to really bring that name in because I don't want to highlight it. Not because I am afraid to highlight it. It's because I don't want to bring that presence. It's kind of a poisonous presence at the moment in. But in that case, I've also called all of the churches associated where the individual male attended to tell them that his failure to defend gender parity at a time when the whole world needed it was an act of lack of character and lack of wisdom, and very dangerous to his and everyone's karma who he is associated with. So we have done that for him also. That's another member of our family, an older man. Now, you're going to read about some of this at another website that we have, which is called the Spoon River Anthology. And we have also called a government, quasi-governmental office in the past, and already told the male supervisor of a young woman in her heart, the one who gave me the heart lights. That is the Attorney General's office of Illinois. We've warned them long ago of earthquake related to illegitimate law without parity of gender and without balance of love and work, and without caring about the families of the people who are at their offices. Now, we've done that to every Secretary General in the U.S. and all of the election commissions and equivalent offices around the world. That was done some time ago. That was done last year. But it is this case that gives us the opportunity most clearly to see the intersection of patriarchy in a family and patriarchy in larger society. And that is why this is an opportune moment to say, we predict the earthquakes unless that court order is removed and the family is given the instruction by all who know them, and particularly any people involved in so-called law, that they need family therapy and family reconciliation, and that it has to start with the women and the younger people. First go first, and then the older men can also gain forgiveness, education, and admission that their little hegemony of patriarchy has no place on this planet anymore if we want to have a thriving planet, a surviving planet, a thriving planet, and open the stargates and have a solar-powered solar sail craft going between the different planets that we will also settle and discover, and who will discover us. So now we have done those two things. We need to make a few more daring moves. But let me say, the man who I first mentioned about the churches, I was allegedly married to that man. And it was partly my fault that this happened. I now look back on my life and I see I should not have gotten married. And that man was willing to know me as a friend without marriage. That would have been a more Essene approach. I should have waited to bring balance of gender to society before getting married. There's a beautiful song by Pete Seeger that says, "Where have all the flowers gone? Gone to young men, every one," referring to how girls, young women all get married. It was my goal in life to get married when I was a young woman in my 20s and 30s, and I really wanted to get married, and I tried very hard, and I had a much higher heartbreak in the attempt, and I was very delighted that someone wanted to marry me. But now I see that was a mistake, because until we have the greater marriage of yin and yang as equals in a society, in other words, parity, instead of patriarchy, every talented group of people's marriages will be stressed and harmed by marriage. That's what happened to Lynn Alexander Margulies and Carl Alexander Sagan. They were gifted people, and gifted people have more difficulty in a patriarchal marriage society than people who are maybe a little bit slightly less gifted at that moment in time. All people have enormous and infinite gifts, but patriarchy stresses the genius of the women, and it also stultifies the geniuses of the young. It also hurts the minorities and all the many intersectional realities of classism also, that defeat aspects of genius, such that, you know, very often very talented people cannot get far enough because they don't have enough money or backing, and they spend a lot of their time running around to get money or backing, and meanwhile the genius gift that they want to give to society is foundering. We know that we can live in a Star Trek society, and that's what is described, that doesn't even need money, that is solar powered, and is so full of matter energy transfer and other gifts that we have quite easily to develop, including opening the stargates and finding the fountain of youth for all people, that we actually do not need money anymore. But these are the shifts that people have to make. We live in a society where everybody could have a computer access, and everybody could say great things on the computer. But due to patriarchy, we have many places on earth where either older women aren't interested and don't know the value of it because they're left out of the process of what their young generations are doing, or we have old men who are trying to balkanize the internet and causing the greater likelihood of war between their countries, and failure to bring forth the best genius of their populations in their regions, of all the people there, the females and the males. We cannot say that those men are leaders. They are patriarchs in the old mode, and that's why we have to switch out of it, or this world will not fulfill its potential as a planet, not a bunch of nations, but a planet of one family community, all related by love empowerment. So now, you've heard me make some of the daring phone calls I'm going to make. There's going to be some more I'm going to do tomorrow morning, or maybe later today yet, even though it will be the Starry Hours broadcast, because I don't want to overdo all at once, and there's some specific things I want to do. I am willing to take any risk to save and empower those that I love the most. And I think I'm also going to call another, let's see. I think I'm going to have to leave a message on that overnight, because yeah, we're getting to the point where I should probably stop the broadcast. But I mentioned the Attorney General's office, legal eagles. What happens to a beautiful young woman with goddess in her, who was originally supposed to be a therapist, when she's surrounded by legal eagles in her family and in her community? What happens to her is something that can impact a world, and her world, and all the worlds. And it is related to what happened to her and what happened to other millions of people when the medicine is patriarchal. The instincts to balance the right and the left brain, or the yin and the yang understanding of things, becomes diminished. People who go into law think very individualistically. They don't think relationally. People who go into psychology, social work tend to think more relationally. People who are in advanced holistic sciences, system sciences, put it all together. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that as a true Q. I have stood up to illegitimacy, and you heard me call the court earlier today and warn them of the earthquakes. I will call the Attorney General's office where the young lady works also and warn them of the earthquakes and warn her building of the earthquakes. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. No, I think I'll do that in the, either later today or in the morning. I think I'll do that then. So we need to know that all of our women know that they are the central people to stop these earthquakes. Julianne Marie, Marion, Georgine, Nisa could stop these earthquakes altogether. But you know what? They're likely not to try. They could stop any risk to any of their children altogether. But you know what? They're not likely to try right now because their minds are filled with patriarchal, hierarchical, self-prohibitions. Therefore, we have predicted, we've told you, some level of personal danger to all of the family who are not coming to co-broadcast these broadcasts and who are not calling me with a three-way call among women to start. We've also suggested to the younger people that if their mothers and their aunts and great aunts don't have the ability, that they can find any woman on the street and call in with her, and that be a temporary understudy, not an understudy, but a additional co-mother to assist their own mother or aunt or great aunt to come and to participate. No one needs to be behind paralysis on this. No one needs to be stuck. But it is most optimal for the women that I've mentioned to stop the earthquakes. That is the greatest potential if they stop the earthquakes. And if they also tell all of the men in their family, as I have done just now, that the patriarchal aspects will kill the planet, will destroy the young, will dronify and harm the female, and prevent the eternal rising of the eternal feminine, and therefore also cause a primitiveness instead of a divine masculine to rule and to ruin the planet. So I think you understand this now. I'm going to just close. You've heard me make some rather daring phone calls. I hope you see that you can have a little courage and try something. Let's see what happens. God's behind me, I'm quite sure. Every blessing. We'll see you in a little while. And don't forget that milk. Don't forget that milk.